Hey guys, welcome to another Building Blocks. This one's going to be pretty simple and pretty straightforward. It's actually about a walkout. Kind of me and Jake, what we've seen is a lot of our clients and a lot of people who have great squat form, but they're starting wrong. So where I learned this from, I'm going to be talking about the 3-step walkout. I learned it from Susie and Matt Gary. They have a great version on it online. They teach this, they taught it for years. But I'm just going to kind of put my explanation and how I understood the cue a little better. And so it's really based off two really simple things. The first is controlling your motion, which is based off of, the first law of motion, right? An object could rest, stays at rest, object in motion tends to stay in motion. So essentially it's going to be a few components we'll do. We'll take the literally motion and starting and stopping yourself purposely at everything you do in a movement. And two, every foot has a purpose. Because a 2-step walkout, it's very, a lot of people can do a 2-step walkout, and what you'll see, I'll do this stick as an example. What you'll see is, actually this is a rack, you'll pop out the rack, and it's very hard to do this and get it right. Just the chances of, it's literally like 50-50, the chances of doing this and getting it right are quite difficult. A lot of people do 5-step. A 5-step, I don't even know, but something like the Macarena, I would assume. You calm 1, 2, you settle 4, 5, which is cool to some degree, but the more steps you take, the more error you're gonna have trying to find your place. So the cool thing about 3 steps is that you can really fix, even if you make an error on this step, exactly where you want to be, exactly in your stance. So the first thing that you do have to have to do this is to know where your stance is, and we're just gonna try to simply get to that stance. So I'm gonna show you in the bar how this makes sense, I guess in terms of which legs and how I call the legs a name. Right? So the first thing you want to do, obviously, this isn't a rack out video, it's a walkout video, but I'm throwing a little freebie. You want to make sure that under the bar your foot is cut in half. So once I do get under the bar, it feels like I'm gonna fall back. So once I do get under the bar, it takes a minimal effort. All it takes is for me to simply just pop my hips up like I'm finishing a deadlift. That's it. Totally easy up. So, as we talked about the 2-step, it's a little erratic. It's hard to find my place, right? We also talked about the 5-step, which I don't need to show you. It's just a lot of steps. Here's what a 3-step will look like. So you want to come, pop ourselves out. First foot back, second foot to the side, third foot pivot. Now, I'm in a perfect position to squat there, and I'll explain why. So what the 3-step does is that it can control literally the acceleration of my body with weight on it. Now this bar is in the center of mass, it's my center of gravity. You want to control this, because like I said about the first law of motion, if I step back in a fast acceleration, that bar is going to do whatever it wants on a 4 or 5-step walkout. So the best thing to do is control those steps the best you can, at the pace that you can, and it's important to not rush those. So I'll explain to you how I go about taking these steps. So I'll show you this with a little space just so you can see it from the front first before I do it in the rack. So the first step you want to do, and I'll do this in the rack, is you want to do what we call we totally made these up, they're not official names, is the walkout step. So I take one foot, my strong foot that I trust to keep the center of my mass is my right foot. So right now the bar is cut right in the middle of my feet where it should be. And I want to keep that there along my step. So what I'll do is I'll show you from the side too. Actually, this would be much better. The bar is going to follow my foot. I've stopped with the bar on this foot that is bearing the weight on it. That's very important. This is a terrible idea. Now the center of my mass has now become forward. I've stepped. My foot is with the weight. I'm going to step out and take another pivot step. Now how that works in the bar, it looks pretty simple. Again, I get under, foot is about cut in half, pop out, I control my step. Object in motion stays in motion, object in rest stays at rest. So I'm literally controlling how fast this bar is moving. I step, I stop. Now, the second step is important because you use the opposite foot, and what it does, it's going to find the actual angle that your feet are going to be pointed in, your toes are going to be pointed in or out, totally determined on what's something you'll find in your own time. Obviously, I can't tell you today. I've settled my left foot or opposite, whichever one you prefer. This foot, this is the angle that I'm now going to be squatting on. Now you see that my left foot has a proper angle. My right foot is still straight forward. That's what I needed to step back and not topple over. So now the weight of the bar is now over my left heel or middle of my left foot. So my center of mass is now weighing on this foot more than this foot. The right foot, which is what's great about a 3-step, is that all it is a pivot. I'm just going to step over and even out my stance. And now I'm even, and now I can squat like a master. So what's important about that is that that gets extrapolated with 300, 400, 500 pounds in there. That seemed easy with the bar, but if you were to do this with weight, like I said, an object in motion is going to keep rolling, and it's going to have a very hard time stopping. So one more. Control your step. Find your stance. From the hip, pivot. Whether it be here, 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 here. Doesn't matter. This is simply a pivot to find your step. Step out, center. Find your stance, center. Pivot to where it's correct. Like the video if you like the video, don't like the video if you don't like the video. Links for apparel and supplements and other stuff that we sell. Thank you.
It's going to have a lot greater chance of rolling up your neck. So if you keep it back, right here,